Welcome to the Mighty Emotions Podcast. I'm your host, Giselle. I'm a certified emotions coach, and I teach you how to respond better to your emotions so you can feel better in your life. My mission is to show you how to work with your emotions to become more emotionally resilient. Your emotions are not designed to overpower you, they're designed to empower you. On this podcast, I share what our emotions are, how to understand them and work with them, and the tools you need to reclaim your power and get unstuck from emotional pain so you can find fulfillment in your life again. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's get into the episode. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to another episode. I am really relieved to be feeling better. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but I went a little quiet on there. I was super ill. Um, yeah, just the worst. I've been sick in a really long time. I don't really recommend it. I don't wish it on my worst enemy. I am so grateful that my husband was able to step in. And I mean, he would say it's his job, which I guess, but it's still, we're not entitled to anything. And I'm really grateful that he was able to be there, take care of everything, take care of me. Honestly, it was brutal and I needed to get an episode up to you guys. So I'm glad that I'm feeling better enough to do so. Next week's episode is going to be a beautiful, vulnerable discussion, conversation with my friend Michaela. Um, Sorry, I'm like, Michaela, I can't speak. My friend Michaela, who's a self-love coach, it's a beautiful conversation. So I'm really excited for you to hear it and to hear all the guests that I have. I have some other guests for May. I'm doing 2 solo episodes and 2 guest episodes a month if I can find just guests. I'm so grateful for the people who are willing to hop on here and be vulnerable and share what it's like to be human and that it's okay and that we can overcome things. All my guests are people who have really done a lot of work and who have really experienced their emotions in a wide range of ways and now help people on different journeys. So it's a great way for you to learn, what's out there, what kind of support is out there for you. Because I always say we need to get support. We need to get support. So this is hopefully the podcast is not just me giving you support through the concepts that I'm teaching, but I'm introducing you to other people who might be able to support you. So I'm really grateful for that. The other thing I wanted to remind you is that I have a book coming out this year, guys. I'm so excited. It is being edited right now and it is called Outrunning Your Emotions. Face your feelings, find your power, and love yourself. It is everything that I teach my coaching clients, my private clients. I'm putting it into a book for you so that you have these tools at your disposal. And I've been working on it for a few years now, and it really is, it's ready to be born into the world. I'm excited to share this information with you guys. So look out for that book and look out on my Instagram at Mighty Emotions, Mighty_emotions, because I'll be letting you know when there's like early reader access, which is going to come soon, delayed obviously because I've been sick and I'm easing back into things, but it is coming before the month of April is out. I want to be able to give you early access to the first part of it. So really excited for that and for the rest of the book to come out. And today I wanted to talk about something that I go into more detail in the book in part 1, but something that I don't hear a lot of people talk about or share about, which is the way that our psyche, our mind plays into processing our emotions, but by breaking down for you what the mind really is, because we have 3 layers of mind, each with a different function. And you may have heard of the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind. A lot of people kind of muffle together the subconscious and unconscious, but they use the terms interchangeably. They're like, oh, it's really the same thing. And they're not the same thing. So like I said, I go into that in detail in part 1 of the book, but I wanted to do an episode about it as well because it's been coming up in my coaching sessions, and it's something that I haven't really talked much about because I try to stay away from, certain using big words. I try to keep things really kind of layman's terms, but this is really important to understand. So you, me, all of us as humans, we have these three layers of mind, or these like three different ways that our mind functions. And the first one is the unconscious layer of mind. And that is what's absorbing always information, all of the sensory information, everything that we experience through our senses is being absorbed. There's no filter on our unconscious. It's just taking things in, taking information in, storing that information for, a rainy day. um we have no control over it. It is an automatic process that happens, and it's really our unconscious mind, which is where our nervous system, it's linked to our nervous systems. That's where our emotions are signaled from, because our unconscious mind is monitoring whether or not our needs are being met. It's that like instinctual part of us, that survival part of us. And when I talk about survival, I don't talk about existing. I'm not talking about existing. Like, yeah, we can exist with food and water. I'm talking about having our needs satisfied, our need for connection, for love, for validation, all of those needs, for freedom, for play. Those needs are what allow us to survive, like thriving, right? They give us a quality of life, they improve our well being. So it's not just about existing, it's about existing in an optimal state of well being. And that is where our nervous system, our unconscious mind, is taking note of, where are our levels at? Where are things out of alignment or in alignment with our optimal state of well-being? So the unconscious mind is really useful for that. That's the function of it. The subconscious mind has a different function. The subconscious mind is where we interpret our experiences. So the subconscious mind is where we make meaning of things, where we make sense of things, and it uses what's in the unconscious mind, right? All the information we've gathered, and it combs through all of that, and it creates these kind of rules, if you will, or these core beliefs, if you will. The subconscious mind is really a filter through which we interact with the world. It's a filter to which we interact with ourselves. It is where reactions come from, right? So when we do things, we behave in a way, we instinctively react in a way, it's because of whatever kind of instructions our subconscious mind has stored in it. So an example of this is if I think that, I don't know, I'll give you a silly example. My bread needs to be cut into triangles. Okay, I don't know. Cut my grilled cheese triangular wise. Okay, I don't want square grilled cheese or whatever. Um, it's silly, but I'm just saying that if I have this rule that that's how it is, then if you hand me a grilled cheese that's not cut into a triangle, I'm going to react in a certain way because I'm like, I might have disgust come up. Like, wait a minute, no, this isn't how I want my grilled cheese. Okay, this is a really silly example. Let me give you a less silly example. Um, if I have a subconscious belief that I'm not good enough, that something's wrong with me, that I'm inherently broken, then the slightest thing can happen and I'm going to react in accordance with that, right? And I have no control over it because that belief was created out of my mind needing to make something mean something, needing to make sense of things. So that's where the subconscious mind comes in. It allows us to go through life without constantly having to analyze every detail of what we do and think about every single thing we do before we act. That's where the conscious mind comes in. And the conscious mind is where we analyze things. So the subconscious mind is where we interpret things, it's where we react from. And the conscious mind is where we respond from. So that's where we look at things objectively, take a step back, ask questions, challenge our thoughts, like analyze a situation, seek new information, take in new information intentionally. The conscious mind is where we are intentional from. So the subconscious mind is just us reacting, not being intentional. just automatic, autopilot, and the conscious mind is where we're intentional from, we're deliberate, we're measured, we calculated, we're like, let me take my time with this, make a decision and move forward. And from the conscious mind, we can create new subconscious scripts. So we can change what is in our subconscious. We can change the rules that we've made. We can change the meaning that we've created, and we can choose a new meaning, and we should. We'll talk about this in a second. But from the conscious mind, we can actually reprogram our subconscious mind so that the next time something happens, we don't react in a harmful way, right? So, in this way, we have this amazing ability when we understand how our minds work to live intentionally, to heal from the past, to build resilience, to create and manifest whatever we want when we know how to work with these layers of mind. And this is what my method of coaching, what the Mighty Emotions method essentially allows you to do. It allows you to put the subconscious reaction on pause and take over the conscious part of you that can analyze what's coming up from the unconscious, these emotions that are coming up, and make sense of, okay, why are they here? What are they showing me? What do I need to do? What do I need to believe? What do I need to decide? And then once you take those new actions, you respond differently to life. You've reprogrammed your subconscious so that the next time you don't react the same way. So you have more control over your subconscious mind than you realize. And I know there's a lot of stuff out there about like bypassing it and hacking it with all these different ways, but I personally think it's so much more powerful to just be more intentional and to go through this process of reprogramming it fully in your conscious awareness, because that is going to change your experience moving forward more than anything else. It's kind of like, you're learning how to drive a car. You're not just like being driven everywhere, right? You're actually getting behind the wheel. You're actually making decisions about shifting the gears. You're actually making decisions about where you're going to turn, where you're not going to turn. You're not just being driven by your subconscious mind, right? Even if you get a good driver, even if you get the driver to take you where you want to go, it's still a life skill to be able to take yourself, right? It's an important life skill. So, learning how to process your emotions fully requires that you can work with that unconscious part. You can work with the body first, because that's where it stems from. And then you can allow your conscious mind to take over rather than just reacting from the subconscious place. Of course, it's not possible 100% of the time, and it doesn't need to be. That's totally okay. It's just about knowing how to use these skills to achieve inner peace and equilibrium and getting your needs met and taking care of yourself, right? This is why we process our emotions so that we can take better care of ourselves. Because when we're on autopilot, we are operating from the past. We are operating from whatever someone planted there, whatever we absorbed, and we're not actually saying, okay, well, maybe I need different information. Maybe I need new evidence. Maybe I need to try a different approach here, look at this a different way, because I'm older, I've gone through more. I'm not just gonna keep reacting, right? I need to see what is going on in the subconscious that's causing me to react this way, and how does it need to change so that I can be in alignment and I can get my needs met and I can take care of myself. And so we need the subconscious. We need the subconscious, we need the unconscious, we need the conscious mind. They all help us, right? When we understand them, which is why in part 1 I go into detail about how the process works and how when the body sends that signal to the subconscious mind, it takes that, it interprets that and decides, okay, well, what do we do with this? And what processing our emotions allows us to do is to notice that reaction, let it be okay, right? Honor that reaction, but then let the conscious part take over so that we can actually unpack what's there, what's coming up, what needs to change in the subconscious. We can look at what's going on, what the unconscious is trying to communicate to us, and we can make it we can turn that into action that's aligned with getting our needs met, so that next time something happens, next time that feeling is triggered, we know what it is. Our subconscious mind isn't just going, we're like, oh, that's sadness, oh, that's shame, oh, that's fear, oh, okay, I understand that, I recognize that, I know what to do about that. And that's what I love watching, seeing my clients just have that power come back, where they're no longer so reactive in the same way. They're not reacting from the past. They've actually gone, oh, I actually know what to do with this feeling, with this emotion, right? And our feelings live in our subconscious mind, because our feelings are all the stories that we have, again, from things, the information we've absorbed and collected in the past. And so it's so important that we use that conscious mind piece that is meant to work for us. And we don't just use it as a radio to hear all the thoughts we have, to just hear our internal stories and scripts. We use it to actually change things, to make changes, right? We use it to tap into and help us become aware of what's in the subconscious, because we need to bring what's in the subconscious into our conscious awareness in order to change it. We can't just go, well, I kind of vaguely, I feel like I'm not good enough. That's really vague for our mind. Our mind cannot do anything with that. It's like, what does that mean? Not good enough at what? In what instance? Like, it needs specifics, right? Our conscious mind, our unconscious mind, it needs specifics in order for us to change what's going on. And so part of the process, this is why I teach people that getting emotional relief is not the end of the process. The end of the process is after you've neutralized that emotional reaction, that subconscious reaction, you know how to synthesize what's coming up and synthesize the information so that you can harmonize it and turn it into something that's going to serve you. And when you do that, you respond differently. And once you've responded differently, that sends feedback into your subconscious. So the next time you're going to react differently, right? So it's so amazing the way that everything works naturally within us. It's so, so beautiful. And I'm really excited for you guys to learn more about, what's underneath our emotions. I'm unpacking so much and making it really, really simple and easy to understand. I hope this episode was easy to understand, but there's a lot of like psychological terms and concepts and stuff out there. I just want it to be delivered to you in a way that makes you go, oh, that's not so complicated. Oh, my mind knows what to do with that. Um, so that you can feel like safe with the information. And that's part one of the book, where I talk about facing your feelings. Like, how do you actually work with your emotions and your feelings, in the sense of like, where do they come from? Why do we have them? All of that. And then part two is where I go into how you find your power, how you actually take control of this process, how my Mighty Emotions method helps you do this. And then the third part of it is needs, and what your needs are, what the obstacles are that get in the way of us getting our needs met, how to work through that, all of that, taking that back into your hands, and really allowing you to cultivate deep love within yourself. And it's what's helped me on my journey. It's helped so many other people. My clients can attest to it. So I just cannot wait for you guys to read this book, to have this book. I am just very, very excited for it to be out in the world. And I hope that it just goes on and on and on and on and on for years and years and years, serving people in the best ways, just by helping you know that there is nothing wrong with you, that you are not broken in any way. You are a human being. You may be wounded, you may be injured, but you are not broken. You are not inherently flawed at all. You are so worthy and valuable. And when you can understand yourself in this deep way and hold yourself through it all and have the full human experience, you're going to see just how amazing you are, right? And how amazing life gets to be. So, with that, I'm going to stop before I cry. I'm just so grateful for the work that I do and being able to share this with you, because it's been a really rough journey for me in my life, and I share about that in the intro where I share my story like fully with you. It's super vulnerable. I don't think I've ever shared it to this degree. No, I've never shared it to this degree. So I share about that in the intro just so that you understand that everything that I'm sharing with you is something I earned, I worked for, I strive for. I continue to work with my emotions. I continue to get my conscious mind on board and to improve how I'm teaching. And there's so much layers, there's the layers of mind, but there's so much to be uncovered when it comes to our emotions and our feelings and how to use them to help us in this life, because they're not going anywhere. And neither am I. So I will see you guys for another episode next week, like I said, and then every Tuesday after that. And the book is coming out. I just cannot wait for you guys to have it. Thank you so much for listening, for sharing this with anyone if you shared it, for supporting the podcast in any way, leaving a review, whatever it may be. Very, very grateful for you and your support. And I will seek you or speak to you on another episode. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. It would mean so much if you could subscribe, leave a review, share with your friends and family, and let me know what you think by going to my Instagram at mighty_emotions and connecting with me and letting me know what you loved about today's episode. It really means a lot that you support this podcast, and I love coming to you each week with a new episode. So be sure to subscribe, let me know what you think, and take care of yourself.